Quiet on set. Lights, camera, action.
Hey, come here. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Look what I found in the cupboard. It is gonna be Christmas in July. We are talking about the Starbucks Christmas blend. It is made with those rare aged Sumatra beans. They taste like chocolate with a hint of spruce tips. Now for the secret part, you gotta go to Starbucks on Christmas Eve day or Christmas because they mark it down 50 to 70%. That is the time to stock up and pick it up at the store. Now they've got a new way for you to get it. You go to the Starbucks app.
Cut! I'm just not feeling it.
I'll tell you what, let's just leave all that on the cutting room floor. And now let me tell you my real coffee story. So, what did you think of my Starbucks Christmas in July commercial? You can tell me later. My name is Tom Zutaut. I have a music career that spans over 40 years, and I found some of the greatest music in the world. I found bands like Guns N' Roses, Tesla, Motley Crue, Dokken, Edie Brickell, Enya, Lisa Loeb, and many others. One of the perks of the job was, perks, get it? I got to travel all around the world and find my other passion, coffee. I was in Australia on tour with Guns N' Roses, and I discovered the flat white. I came back to the US and I went to Starbucks, said, hey, can you guys make me a flat white? Well, about a year later, they were like, yeah, it's a new drink, we just got it. And I've been drinking flat whites ever since. I went to Africa, and I've always been interested in African coffees. And I rode a train, and we stopped in Zimbabwe, went to the Victoria Falls Hotel, had a great cup of coffee there. And I never really knew there was coffee in Zimbabwe, but I asked the maitre d', I said, man, that is one of the best cups of coffee I've ever had. Where'd those beans come from? He pointed out the window. They grew their own beans right next to the restaurant at the hotel. Got back on the train, went to Tanzania and discovered the Tanzanian peaberry coffee. I love finding all these different coffees. I went to Italy, and one of the things that was amazing to find was that every region of Italy, whether it's Rome or Naples or Bologna or Treviso, every city kind of has its own coffee and its own coffee blend and brand. And while I was in Italy, I bought this killer grinder. It's a La Pavona grinder, and you know, coffee starts with a good grind. Once you grind the beans, you take them, you kind of tap it a little bit, and you pull out the cup. Now, this is not just any coffee maker. This is the Starbucks Quattro Barista coffee maker. Came out in 2002, and it was $80, and I thought that was really expensive. Now, 23 years later, I realize that I'm still making all my coffee with this coffee maker, and it's the best one. I haven't found one better. People write about it on blogs, and it's like a cult thing. But anyway, we pour the beans into here. And we stick this in here. We kind of shake it just a little bit. So back in the early 2000s, Starbucks was actually selling these coffee makers, and it even had the instructions here, and if you follow those, you're going to get amazing coffee. So I'm just going to brew this coffee. And now this is the Utopia machine, another genius invention from Starbucks. So you had the Quattro, the 4-cup maker, and for some reason the 4-cup maker makes the best coffee you're going to get. and there's no other machine to do it. The Utopia, the funny story about the Utopia is that I went to my dad's house and used this for the first time, and my dad looked at me and he said, "This is like a percolator." And I said, "What's a percolator?" My dad goes, "Don't you remember when you were a kid?" And I said, "Yeah, I remember loving it when you left your coffee on the table and you wouldn't drink it because it was too cold. And so I would drink your cold coffee because we didn't have a microwave then to warm it up. Now you warm it up." But my dad taught me everything I know about coffee. So it's amazing, you know, that he was such a coffee fanatic. But anyway, and the way this works is you fill it up with water and it boils up into the top part, and then when it cools to a certain temperature, the beans are all ground up on the top, and then the water flows down into here. You pull this off like that, and then you take this and you pour it into your cup. Now meanwhile, our Quattro machine is still brewing, and I'm going to come over here and show you. This is the Starbucks Barista espresso machine. It only makes espresso, and you get to use this wand to make the foam and cream any way you want it, latte, cappuccino style, whatever you want. But it was all manual, so you know, you steamed your milk in here and you tamped your coffee yourself. It was all manual. You stuck it back up in here and you brewed it into your cup, and you had fresh espresso. So I tell you, it's one of those things where I wish Starbucks would sell these great machines again, because there are no machines on the market as good as any of these. So now I'm going to go back and fill up my cup, and I'm going to have a drink. And the last thing I'm going to say is I'm excited to travel the world and meet all of the coffee farmers that Starbucks sources its coffees from, and maybe I'll even find a new single origin Ethiopian. I love that Ethiopian single origin. They haven't made it in a while, but I was obsessed with that as I was the Christmas blend, and I went to every Starbucks I could find to get it, and now we have our perfect cup of coffee. Can you imagine what it would be like to travel the world as a Starbucks global ambassador? Man, get to go to places like Ethiopia, Tanzania, Costa Rica, Colombia, taste some of the best coffees in the entire world. It sure would be better than traveling the world with crazy rock stars. Man, I can only dream.